In my previous video, I examined why Turkey did not join the EU. Lots of viewers left comments, which I really appreciate, and they expressed their opinions. They gave me some great history lessons. In this video, I'm going to examine why Turkey wants to join BRICS. BRICS was formed in 2001 and somewhat formalized in 2009. It has a pretty long track record now of what it is. It's an economic union. Some people in the West are scared of it, and rightfully so. There are some alternatives which BRICS will offer many other countries, and people want to have alternatives. By the way, you can subscribe to this channel, share this video with others if you find it helpful, put some thumbs up, and of course leave some comments. I really like that, and it helps video to go further. First of all, let's examine some economic data, which I collected, and it tells us why Turkey might be looking east.
Most recent statistic which I found was according to the provisional data produced with cooperation of the Turkish Statistical Institute and Ministry of Trade in March 24. Exports were $22,571 million with a decrease of 4.1% decrease, and imports were $29,912 million with a 6.3 decrease compared to March 23. What it tells me is that Turkey has this balance of imports and exports. That's pretty obvious. What is more interesting, where that trade goes. Right now, the exports which Turkey has mostly goes to Europe and United States, predominantly Europe. There are some exports which are going to Iraq, Israel, and Russia. And what's interesting here with Russia being at the end of there, Russia brings a lot of tourism to Turkey. So Russians come to Turkey and spend money. And when it comes to imports, there is no surprise. China is always leading. The second after that is Russia. And then you have Germany, United States, India and South Korea out of the East. And with Turkey looking at the East, it is appearing to me that it could be a great opportunity. It's complementary to what's going on right now. If Turkey can increase its trade with Eastern countries through BRICS, if it creates a new network of acquaintances in companies, in between politicians, etc., it definitely will help Turkey to increase its trade and increase the economy too, the size of it. For those who think that Turkey is just agricultural backwards country, banana republic, which all it has is just tourism, those people may be really surprised when they start looking at the exports and imports of Turkey. Turkey is a pretty large manufacturing country. It imports raw materials and it exports some kind of products. Here you don't see exactly, but what you see, it's nowhere near the picture where it's agricultural country. It's mostly motor vehicles, industrial machinery, iron and steel, electrical machinery, precious stones and metals, apparel, plastics, etc., etc. And the last graph which I want to demonstrate for you is the comparison of GDP by G7, which include Western countries, or they call themselves developed countries, versus GDP of BRICS countries. And you can see here that GDP BRICS countries is growing rather fast because more countries are joining. In fact, right now it's even higher than that, and it will be higher even more because Turkey will join, and Thailand is joining, and many other countries are joining the BRICS Union.
Now, since we examined that data and we know that East is actually offering a lot of opportunities, let's examine some tools which BRICS is offering to those people who want to join BRICS. First of all, BRICS is economic union and it doesn't really impose any political requirements on participating. Also, countries can choose in what way, in what capacity, and to what extent they want to participate in this union. Do they want to be just trade member? Do they want to be more involved, less involved, etc.? It gives an opportunity to develop new network among other partners in this particular union. It is offering a new alternative to SWIFT. SWIFT, for a long time, it is system which permits banks to push the money back and forth across the globe, and it passes a lot of transactions. And it had no alternatives. There are some countries which have their own settlement system. There are some countries which are testing bilateral payment systems, but this one really becomes global. And of course, to make it technically operating as one thing, to have people participating in it, it's a different thing. The main advantage of this system that it permits people to trade in their own currency, and that will greatly reduce the cost of trade and reliance on Western currencies, reserve currencies, dollar, euro, and that will permit countries to have closer ties. It is only logical to think that countries which are close together, neighboring countries, they should have a lot bigger trade. The problem with that is that in the past we have some political divide. We also had some problems with the dollar. People who print dollars, they impose sanctions. In fact, Turkey, we're talking Turkey here, it's under tremendous pressure to reduce its trade with Russia. As we saw in our statistics, Russia is a big trade partner of Turkey. Reducing the trade with Russia means reducing trade overall by a certain percentage. And in some cases, it's a pretty large percentage. Besides, Russia is a neighbor, and it's a pretty large country. Europe is also a neighbor, and with Europe, trade is going on pretty well. But when you want to borrow money from Europe or trade with Europe, there is always some political requirements. And in later years, there are more political requirements and lots of political pressure. You can ask Hungary and Viktor Orban, and he will not let me lie. There is a lot of political pressure. And Poland in past also was under political pressure. Turkey is a member of NATO. NATO is a military union, and many people now are scared that NATO country is joining BRICS, which includes some of the countries opponents of NATO. And that could be a problem. But that's not the only problem. The bigger fear is that if Turkey succeeds in doing so, and Turkey benefits from that, other countries which are part of NATO may also decide to join. The world is changing, and as we can see, many more countries start trading in their local currency. For instance, China is buying oil with its local currency. India now is paying for oil with its local currency. And that becomes important. There is a less reliance on dollar. That means fewer dollars needed. That means that fewer dollars will be floating. They will be coming back to the United States. The other problem is that Turkey been trying to enter EU for such a long time, and you can see some interviews of Turkish officials on this subject, and they failed. And my esteemed viewers, which point out that Turkey has certain track record in human rights, in some other things, those things are not aligned with West and EU. But there are countries which were accepted in EU, and they have worse track record than Turkey in many of those areas. So I don't think that is exactly the case. Of course, it's an official position of EU. Of course, they've been pushing it for a long time, and a lot of people adopted that point of view. If we start examining it, and I don't really care about examining it because it's a can of worms, I think you will find that Turkey actually has pretty decent track record in many of those areas, or at least not as bad as many people claim. The other thing about BRICS is that it is based on mutual respect. It doesn't have any members which have a patronizing relationship with other members. Everybody is equal. That's what's supposed to be in UN, but it's really not functioning that way in UN, and it definitely not functioning in a trade under current conditions. In BRICS, if everybody is equal, then everybody has the same opportunity to trade. And that is basically your self-interest and other party self-interest. If you can do it and everybody is happy, there are no political requirements. You do what is good for your country, I do what is good for my country, and that sounds fair. Oh, by the way, this is the video which I was discussing why Turkey is not going to join EU. Good luck.